What's up, everybody? We are live and we are so pumped. Today is a very special stream. Thank you for your patience as we were working out some technical difficulties on the back end. But man, we are so pumped. We've got Terry in the house from France. Did I say your name right? I hope I did. And is that a pine, the theta? What was it? What were those called? Like pineapple? I forget what they're called. I have one. I own one of those NFTs. Oh my God. Remind me of what that is. But good to have Theta family in the house. Andrew, we can always count on you. He says, I feel like we just entered alt season. Well, guess what? We're going to go over whether or not that is true, a true assumption right now in the stream. So get ready. And yes, yesterday was absolutely insane. I mean, I almost wanted to start a live in the middle of the night, my time in Spain, because I was so excited. I didn't get much sleep last night because the markets are just like, they're doing their thing, man. And we just hit an all-time highs to $112,000 and change, depending on what chart you're looking at. But you know what that means in the group. What's up, big dog? We got Theta family in the house. I was just about to toast to a new all-time high, of course. I'm going to do some shameless promotion of my vodka brand that I'm a co-owner of now, ATH, all-time high vodka, baby. And you know what that means. It means that I'm going to toast to you for that all-time high. So cheers. This is my tradition on the stream. I have myself a drink and I celebrate that all-time high with all-time high vodka. It's actually the pineapple, the Costa Rican pineapple, which is my favorite, with just a little bit of soda water. So yeah, I'm going to do the thing. It's actually 5 p.m. here in Spain, so that's happy hour time here. So all good. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Gary from Myrtle Beach, good to have you. The A-Team crew, as always, you guys are awesome supporters. I hope you're celebrating as well. We crossed a huge milestone in this space, which is Bitcoin above 100,000 seems to be sort of the new norm now. I mean, just it feels like it wasn't that long ago where people were kind of like 10,000 was the new norm. And like now we're above 10,000 and then 20,000. Now it's $100,000 that people are sort of just kind of getting used to. Like, this is it. This is where Bitcoin is now. It's such a cool time indeed. And another thing I wanted to bring up as we celebrate this all-time high moment is just to reflect for a minute on where we're at, how far we've come. So I first started my revamping my YouTube channel with a playlist that's called 200 Days to Halving. And I was talking about how, now is the best time to start getting involved, start looking to average in, get those entries, and get ready for the upcoming halving. I mean, these cycles have been playing out pretty much like clockwork, but we did have a live the other day where we discussed the fact that maybe, just maybe, it's not going to be the 4-year cycle that we're used to anymore, that maybe we're headed into a super cycle or even a mega cycle, more like, the equities market or an ETF, right? Just up and to the right with smaller bear markets in between. So we could be entering into uncharted territory. But on that note, I actually do want to dive into a little bit about this administration, right? The Trump administration, how it's the first pro-crypto administration in history. That is a special thing. Regardless of whether you're on the right or the left or your political opinion, the fact that we have those tailwinds for crypto now is phenomenal. I mean, Andrew, you said it feels like we're going into alt season. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to go into alt season with the stance of the former administration that was clearly not happy about crypto and not very pro-crypto, right? And as the SEC, Gary Gensler was removed from his position. I mean, things are just getting better and better in this space. And I saw this post on Instagram that was like, don't get it twisted. Trump didn't do any of this. This was going to happen regardless. This is not any of his doing. Nothing helped that he did. It's just the 4-year cycle playing out like clockwork. Now, like, part of that is true. I mean, part of that is kind of like, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, right? But another part of it is there is a certain extent to where we're held back in this space from crypto regulation, from kind of like the anti-crypto crusade. And I think it all kind of matters in the grand scheme of things. Regardless, it is a positive thing. And I'm going to read you something from my podcast with Charles Hoskinson. So if any of you are Cardano fans, you're going to love this podcast I'm dropping tomorrow for Draper TV with Charles Hoskinson, and when she talked about politics and the way that he sort of views the world, which I really resonate with. Gary says, hi to Trip. How do we get that vodka? Oh, yeah, that vodka is on sale in Costco, UK right now. He's talking about the all-time high vodka. It's a British brand, and we are expanding now 9 countries in Europe, and we have a distillery in LA in Southern California, actually. We'll be going nationwide in the US, so that's really exciting. And you'll be able to go into Costco, buy a bottle, and scan the top and win anywhere from $1 to $1,000 in our token. We're going to hide a Bitcoin on one of them, but that's just so cool. That gets me so excited for mainstream kind of adoption, because imagine this flow, right? You go and you pick up a bottle of vodka, you're celebrating an all-time high in life, you scan the top, you open a wallet, it's seamless, and you're like, wow, I got these tokens. What do I do with them? If you're at a bar, you can go buy a drink with them. You can buy another bottle. You can cash them out. You can do whatever you want to do. And that is kind of like the mass adoption I believe is going to get everybody involved. I mean, this is in Costco, guys. So that's a multinational play with a crypto element. Couldn't ask for more. Would have been difficult with the previous administration. So I'm going to go through some of the comments. Myrtle Beach, I gotta get out there. It looks amazing. Says hello to you, Trip, as well. Andrew, I'd definitely like for you all to review the XRP chart, because the 1 hour stock RSI is crazy. Don't understand how we're entering oversold on these tiny pullbacks. Okay, that's actually a really good question. We are going to go over alts in this episode. I mean, this episode is all about alts. As you can tell, the title of this whole live is the altcoin season analysis you've been waiting for, because we're right there. We are right there, and these next 4 to 6 months are going to be life-changing for so many of you that actually really apply yourself. Andrew says he's in Southern California. Definitely not time to drink. All right, well, it is 5 o'clock somewhere, and that somewhere happens to be Spain. So I'm having myself a toast. It's my special thing I do when Bitcoin hits an all-time high. The reign of Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren is over. Absolutely. Thank God, and good riddance. So annoyed when Elizabeth Warren, during the hearing yesterday, she's so disingenuous. Yeah, I mean, she's just her. I mean, I just feel like her pockets are lined by banks, right? And that everybody goes with their own interests. I mean, look at Gary Gensler, who's teaching about Ethereum at MIT, and then suddenly, was the most anti-crypto person you could ever imagine. That stuff happens in politics. So yeah, Pipeline in the house. What up? Good to have you back. I feel like, yeah, the A-team for sure. Steven, watching from sunny Belize. Oh, big supporters. Oh, nice to hear from you. We got a lot of exotic locations. This is really fun. I absolutely love these live streams. We've been doing them every day for about a week and a half now, in celebration of our summer sale that we're doing for 20% off the trading group, to teach you how to trade, and to teach you all the skills you need to really succeed in this cycle and beyond, right? So we're going to go over that too. We have Dr. Doom. Uh-oh, that sounds ominous. Yes, we have come a long way, but taxing me on my crypto is a no-no. I'll pay a consumption tax, but I'm not paying any more income or capital gains taxes. That's right. I mean, crypto is borderless. So you can essentially pick up and leave and go wherever you want, where they're going to give you more favorable conditions. And that's why Florida seems to be a pretty good state for that. A few of the states are really fumbling the ball, and they just better believe that, government should be a service, right? Not an enforcement. Like, government should actually fight to have you as part of their society. And by doing so, reward you for, why should you have to pay all those capital gains taxes for taking these risks and doing these things? I agree with you. You're a photographer. Okay. So Andrew's a photographer and cocktail photography brand. Ooh, let's do a collab, man. Let's do some pictures. We got the ATH McLaren in the garage. That baby is beautiful. Rose gold chrome. I'll show you guys a picture, but it's our company car. Our co-founder owns the Cannon Run, which is kind of like, what is that? The gumball of the US. So they do a supercar rally all over Europe, and it's really fun. So yeah, crypto taxes are ridiculous. I agree. I'm getting to the point though here before we really dive deep into these things, but I love to hear you guys' thoughts. I know that there's a lot going on. Back to Charles Hoskinson and government and the way things are run in politics, right? So here is like the core of the issue. And I always like to remind you, or even remind myself, what are we fighting for here? What are we doing here besides the financial freedom element, which is obviously really important? What is the point of crypto, right? And we were reflecting on the administration and, the change to the Trump administration and how it's pro-crypto and all that. And Charles Hoskinson said that a transformation of policy over a gold class asset that is going to literally rewire the entire dynamics of the banking system, how every security is traded, how property is traded, shout out to Proppy, and ultimately eat every economic, political, and social system. That is gargantuan. mean, that's a big idea, guys. And so he basically said if people realize that this can move the needle 3 to 4% in an election this close, that means you'll never win an election again if you take the wrong side of history. That's powerful. And then let's take it one notch further, okay? One step ahead and say the main difference between Democrats and Republicans is a lack of trust in different institutions. But the difference is that they have a lack of trust in completely opposite institutions, but it's all founded and seated in a lack of trust. And trust is powerful in a society, and in the absence can be very damaging. So blockchain fixes a lot of this. And you can't run a society where your entire notion of truth is based upon whether the person you like is president. Okay. Lack of trust creates unnecessary friction. And that's sort of where we are at as a society. I know I'm getting a little philosophical. It's early for some, cocktail hour for others, but I just wanted to leave you with that thought before we sort of dive deep into the charts now. And yeah, I really love sort of going back and forth, reflecting on that. But man, I've just been talking a lot. So I'm going to let you talk now, Trip. How you doing? How you feeling? We got a full house ready and waiting for your analysis. And sorry, I forgot to shout out Watchman. Welcome. Oh, we got Rob in the house, our leverage trade analyst. We should get Rob on for a live tomorrow with you guys to show you some tips and tricks about leverage trading. That would be phenomenal. So yeah, Trip, I'll hand it over to you. What are you thinking? How are you feeling?
Hey, Megan, thank you. I'm doing pretty good today. We got a lot of the moves that we were looking for over the past week, so they just showed up yesterday, and Bitcoin made its first all-time high in a while. So the charts are looking good. Bitcoin dominance is also rolled over, so we had a lot of altcoins start popping up. In general, I think the market's doing very well at the moment. I think maybe for the short term, we could see a bounce on dominance, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But otherwise, Ethereum is something else we're going to talk about. We're going to go over to some other altcoins that we haven't mentioned yet. And really, it's just an update from the past few days to see what's gone on since.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a great show today, guys. Ziv, Crypto, sorry, I forgot to shout you out earlier. You were on earlier. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining. Stu, lack of trust made blockchain mysteriously appear. Trust. I mean, blockchain does fix a lot of that friction and a lot of that sort of like the middlemen in between as well, obviously, who it's just a whole better system, faster, cheaper, more efficient. Much love to you, Gary, too. Loving it. Working and lurking. Okay. Well, I hope you're enjoying your job wherever you are or wherever you're headed. And if you're not, let's all work toward that financial freedom together. That is the point of this. That is what we're working toward. That is what we're teaching the group. Those trading skills. I mean, the best mentor ever, which is Trip, and all of our lead analysts in the group are here to help you excel in life and quit your 9-to-5 if that's what you want to do and become financially free. So yeah, let's go ahead, Trip. I just wanted to give you guys a taste. So I did say before, the link is in the description below to that 20% off. That is going until tomorrow, and that will be ending. So we've been doing the lives every day in celebration of that. I want to give you guys a glimpse into sort of the things that we talk about here in the group. So I'm going to add this to my screen now just to give you a little bit of a sort of a glimpse into this. But so this is our group, right? It's a Telegram trading group. This is the Capital Mindset announcements. And it's not only full of news, but also we post these setups in the group well before we talk about them on the lives, and many more than we've shown you here on the lives. We just like to give you guys a taste and as much value as we can for free during this time. So we've been following Ethereum, all of the biggest things happening now. This Bitcoin dominance chart here on the 4-hour, Trip actually posted that well before it broke down and was hinting at the fact that if that breaks down, we're going to have a markup season, an alt markup season. So this is just a lot of the stuff that we've been covering. Obviously the results, this is awesome. Pangu is 92% so far. So I know Trip is going to talk about that, but yeah, we also have the leverage trading group, and these are where all the setups are posted and all the tips and tricks and what you need to know to get the best entries. So I just wanted to show you guys that. The link's in the description below. We've had so many new members sign up lately, and it's really amazing to see. I love the community that we're forming and that we're doing this together. So Trip, on that note, I'm going to let you go ahead and get started. Should I add your charts to the stage?
Sure. I just want to talk about the Telegram group for a second too. We do have
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels in total, right? So there's the Bitcoin announcements channel, and that's where you get most of the main updates and most of the main setups. And then there's a channel dedicated to just Bitcoins, it's the Bitcoin channel. We have an altcoin long setups and signals channel. We have another one for altcoin short setups and short signals. There's a beginners charts and TA questions channel. So if you're new, you can come into the group, you can watch the videos. You want to start practicing your charting right away. So you really, people start by copying the charts that are posted in the group, and then you see if you can just replicate what we've done on the chart. So this will get you up to speed with how TradingView works, where all the tools are, and just so you can get comfortable with the TradingView platform in general. And then after that, there's the crypto news and fundamentals channel. This is actually a very overpowered news channel. We have 2 bots that are scouring the web for news, and everything is forwarded to this channel. There's a lot of junk that's been filtered out, so you're getting some of the best news that you can get out there for altcoins and Bitcoin and Ethereum, other stuff as well in general. Then there's a channel just for the admins to post their charts. It's the admin charts channel. And then we have a DeFi channel and airdrop alpha channel. Those are 2 in 1 actually. So you can get DeFi news in there, and you also get heads up on different airdrops that could be coming out different times of the year. Right now, it's not excuse me, a very airdrop times right now. So we're going to see how that goes as the alt season progresses that we might be getting into. You might see a lot more airdrops coming. And then the final channel is the Crypto Megan and Web3 channel, just for her important updates as well, just to keep us up to date with what's going on in her world. So
Yeah, no, loving it. We've got a lot going on in that group. Everything you need to succeed, honestly. I mean, all the tools to fill your toolkit to be like, wow, this is going to be the foundation that will propel me forward in this space. So we really appreciate you guys tuning into this, and Trip for sharing all this knowledge. And we're very excited. So that summer sale is lasting until tomorrow. We'd love to have you on board. And on that note, I think we then go ahead and get into it, huh?
yeah, sure. So the first chart, as you mentioned, we're going to talk about the Pangu. This is one of our biggest winners over the past week. So we had this original setup posted on June 26th, and we were looking for a break of this falling wedge and the 200 MA that was coming into the picture here. So on the 6 hour, you had a huge cup and then a nice handle forming. So we were looking for a break above this falling wedge. That's part of the handle and the 200 MA. And then we were looking for another entry if you missed this one, or if you're scaling into the trade, you might have entered down here. And then once this cup and handle neckline broke, you could have added a little more to your position if you chose to do so. So yeah, the move that we got out of that for sure, that was a 92% move so far for Pangu. This one had a bunch of news. I forget exactly what the news was. There's just so many things to keep track of, but yeah, definitely a news-driven pump to begin with, and it's just been carrying on so far. Definitely one of the best gainers we've had over the past week. The next one we have up, this is just another Bitcoin update. So we were watching over the past week for a break above this gray resistance zone, and then I highlighted this red dotted line just to cover the tops of these little bumps that it had over back here in the past. So we were looking for a break above this zone, and we got rejected at this resistance. Not really a big surprise. I mean, we've been consolidating down here for a while, since about I'd say the end of May or so. So I figure the first time we test this all-time high, it's pretty normal to see a rejection at first. People have been waiting to take profits at a higher level for a while. So now that we've got about a retest, or watching this retest here, we need to see if we're going to break that all-time high next, and then we can start aiming for these fib extension levels overhead. So the 1.272 is at about 115,000. The 1.618 is at about 120,000. And then the 2.0 is at about 125,000. So this is like $5,000 increments on the way up. But we do need to see that break above the previous all-time high. Even though we did just make a new one, it was just a quick poke with a quick wick so far. But we do need to see a confirmed break with the candle body close above that level.
Right. So I guess that would sort of segue into my next question, would be what would invalidate that breakout? Like what would be the closing daily price or level?
Yeah, you'd want to come back down below this gray resistance zone. So that's down below 110,000 again. So this red dotted line is set for 110,306. So yeah, if you lost that level and came back down below, this whole move would be considered a bull trap. So we don't want to see that happen. As far as it invalidating the whole move, I think we'd still need to see a break below the 200 MA at the very least. Otherwise, it could just be more choppy stuff that's going on below resistance, which could still be okay. So I think there's definitely some wiggle room still, even if we lost the support, but it would not be the most bullish sign if we did lose that level. You definitely want to see that break above 111,000, pretty much 112,000 for Bitcoin.
Right. And we do have the Bitcoin map that we're following in the group and the Gann chart, which Trip has sort of shown a little bit of on these lives. They're very unique to his toolkit and what he's built and all of his research and analysis. And the group has access to that. And there have been some very, very interesting inflection points that have been eerily accurate. So yeah, we're looking at that now in the group, and I'll leave it at that. But there are some very important dates and inflection points coming up as well. So interesting time.
Yeah, the inflection points that we've had, they're just dates that you can recognize ahead of time. And usually if those dates start to line up with a resistance or a support level, then you're looking for a major move one way or the other once that date arrives. So once you start studying how time cycles work, it changes how you view the charts altogether. Really, it's given us a bit of an edge because we can prepare for the move before it comes, and we get, some really decent notice. Sometimes it's about 2 to 3 months in advance, where it's like maybe it's the beginning of March and we're saying pay attention to July 6th, right? So you got a lot of time to be ready for that move coming. And then sure enough, on that date, that's when we saw that little pump. So it's definitely an interesting factor for the charts indeed.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So Gary says his granddaughter just got home and he missed a few minutes about when we're talking about the group. Yeah, basically we're just saying that we're ending our summer sale tomorrow for that 20% off, and that Trip has this special Bitcoin map. Well, we call it the Bitcoin map, but different tools that he's using an analysis to sort of map out when the next important inflection points are and dates that we should sort of look to be important. And so that's what we were basically discussing, that we have access to that in the group. And yeah, you must find out about this group. This group is, I love the group here on YouTube, but the group in the trading group is next level, because you're getting access to everything that Trip does, and to my tour and the people that I have interviews with and the news that we find out in real time. So it's pretty astounding. So anyway, Gary, I invite you to have a look at that group, and we're just happy to have you all here on YouTube. Yeah, it is a full house, Andrew. I think it's all you guys, the A team. You're drawing everybody in today, and the good vibes. But yeah, okay, let's get back to it. We're on to the Ethereum chart. Very important when trying to determine where we're at with the altcoins.
Yeah, so the Ethereum chart that we're looking at here is the ETH 3-day chart. This was also posted in the group on June 22nd. So we were looking for the support entry on the 0.618, and we had to confirm that this is actually going to be a trap. So you had this level, or this push down to this level previously, and then it had a very quick bounce up back above, and it regained this level that should have acted as support to begin with. So now this is turning into that bear trap. We also talked about this chart a couple of times in our previous videos. So just to show you the result from that support entry, Ethereum had popped about 27% just from that support. It might have gotten in a little earlier. You might have caught it a little later, but still about 27% so far from that move. Really big for Ethereum. We probably didn't expect much of a move from ETH compared to the rest of the market. Usually it's maybe a 10% move on Ethereum and you get 20 to 30% on other altcoins. So a 27% move on ETH is pretty exciting so far. The next one we're going to compare it to. Yeah, exactly. Here's the ETH 12-hour chart. We're looking for a breakout entry now of this ascending triangle that's been forming over the past, past few months already now. So if you get a breakout entry here, we're looking for a move to the top of the range around $4,000 for Ethereum. So this is definitely one you'd want to set an alert on. It's getting really close right now. We're testing that resistance locally at the moment. If you do get a pullback, or if Bitcoin does something unexpected, then I would expect ETH to maybe come down and test this lower trend line again. And again, you might even have another trading opportunity where we can short this if this trend line is lost. And maybe you're aiming down for this level or this level down below near 1500 again. So there's a couple of options. We still need to see a confirmed break before we get too excited. But the way it looks right now with the rest of the market, I think it's looking pretty healthy otherwise for the bulls.
Yeah, you read my mind. I was thinking, if somebody missed that support entry, where would they look to get in now? So here we are. Here we are at another inflection point. Will ETH break out above, or will it just sort of come back down to that lower trend line? We'll see. But this is marking the health of the altcoin market as well. Andrew, I just want to highlight your comment because I really appreciate it. Like the stream, support good crypto stream channels so more awareness brings more people into the market. That's absolutely right. We want to get people involved in the right way with the right information, with quality analysts who can actually help them along this journey, right? So it really is our goal. We appreciate all your guys' support, truly. And yeah. Just good vibes all the way, man. Thanks a bunch, Andrew. And the A team. I see Christopher just joined. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. And let's keep going.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the ETH BTC chart for change of pace this time. Now we're starting to look at the BTC pair since dominance had that pullback. So the first thing we look at is the king of the altcoins, essentially the Ethereum chart, just to see how it's performing against BTC as well. And the pattern is actually nearly identical to the USDT pair chart. You have the same kind of ascending triangle down here. So same idea. If you wanted to, if your goal was to accumulate more Bitcoin, then you could look for trading these BTC pairs instead. So what this means is that if ETH were to break out above this resistance, then you would be looking for a move to this resistance up here, and you'd be accumulating about 48% more Bitcoin by holding Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. So for a lot of people, that could be the goal, is just to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. I know that I have a couple of trades like that as well, where I trade certain things to accumulate more of it. So maybe if I'm trading XRP, I like to do the XRP futures trades where you're trading XRP against XRP essentially. So you're paid out in XRP. You can do the same thing with Ethereum. You can do it with a bunch of stuff now. But really, it's just the goal is if you want to accumulate more of something, you want to trade against it. So ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin by 48% if this resistance breaks.
Not bad. So it's like it's a Bitcoin leveraged trade in essence, right? You're trading it with something else that's going to go higher to earn more Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. I know there's a lot of different strategies out there. I want to know what your guys' strategies are. We will make a strategy YouTube. Maybe it'll be recording, maybe a live so we can take your questions. But to kind of just go over in the grand scheme of things, what would be like the best scenarios, right? For the Bitcoin holdings, for the long-term holdings, for the trading percentages, tips from Trip on how to trade, things that are in my long-term portfolio from what I've seen, like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. So Megan Moss, A team represent. First of all, I still don't really know what this A team is or where you guys are coming from, but I really love this group. And I love your name, by the way. Great name. And Theta Investor. So there's something strange here because he says king of the altcoins is XRP, but your name is Theta Investor. So do you like them both equally? I'm just curious. I also love XRP. I hold a lot of Theta. And yeah, I think those are both great. Gary, ETH, seriously, I'm not sure what you mean by that. You are a Solana guy. You're not bullish on ETH. Here's the thing. If we want to have a full-blown altcoin season, a lot of alts are denominated in ETH. We want to see ETH break out. We really do. I always say Charlie Lee. Tom Lee just announced that he's going to create essentially the micro strategy for ETH, buying 250 million. I mean, there's a lot of news about ETH now. So yeah, we should all hope it does well if we want altcoin season to come. Then Theta Investor says, I own both very strongly, but XRP has Ripple. Theta only has Theta Labs. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, they're two totally different things, right? But I think they're both foundational pillars in my portfolio for sure. And I think we're going to have to go over XRP again because we got a lot of XRP people in the house. You dropped ETH, stupidly, it seems. Yeah, no worries, Gary. You can always get back in. It's all good. We're still just starting to bubble up. It's markup season, right? Or we're starting markup season. We're not in full-blown altcoin season yet. So Bitcoin dominance.
Right. And yeah, that means just because the ETH chart looks okay doesn't mean it's the only horse that's going to be a winner. It's just one of the many horses that could do well. So if you dropped Ethereum, I'm sure you can find something else that could even outperform it as well. So I wouldn't be too bent out of shape about dropping Ethereum itself. It's not such a big deal in my opinion. Otherwise, though, the Bitcoin dominance chart, though, this is the one we were looking at yesterday. We were watching for a break lower. This descending triangle has a higher chance of breaking to the downside than it does to the upside. So we did get that break lower, and we were looking for a bounce around this support level. So maybe we'll have to adjust this now just to see if this is actually going to be a local bottom for Bitcoin dominance. There's a chance we could even run up and get a bearish retest of this level, and that would be actually an okay move for a longer term. So if you get that bearish retest, it just means it's going to keep going down after that. But this very short-term bounce we're getting, it's not a big surprise. We were in oversold territory on the RSI. It's due for this bounce already. So don't be too expected, or don't be too caught off guard, I guess I should say, if you see some altcoins start to retrace after yesterday's pump. It could be very temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. And people get too zoomed in during these times. I think it starts to get stressful when you want to get in and out of trades and you're just learning, like, just don't forget to zoom out and see the bigger picture and, the levels on higher time frames, just so you don't lose that perspective. But yeah, that was a pretty big drop down in Bitcoin dominance. Trip, I'm curious, if we want to see full blown altcoin season, is there a certain level we would have to confirm below to say, like, yeah, okay, this thing is now bearish on the higher time frames, and we're going to go into altcoin season?
Yeah, it's this chart that we talked about yesterday as well. So the point of control is that key level of support that we've been watching. So now that you get this bearish divergence forming on the RSI at overbought conditions, we're expecting this to be a reversal signal. So that point of control needs to be lost. And that's really the support that we're testing at the moment. If we zoom in a little closer, excuse me, we'll go to the 4-hour. You can see that the point of control is actually that support. So same thing back here as the chart we were watching. This level is pretty much what we're watching over here on the bigger picture. So that would be the first indication that we're having a bigger pullback, as if this, let's go back to the weekly chart again, if this bearish divergence plays out. So it's already starting to, it's already a pretty decent pullback, but really, it's just we need to see that break below the point of control. Then we can expect lower numbers. We'd probably be able to pull a fib. That might work as well. So we pull a fib from the bottom to the top, and we'll turn it on full. Then you're looking for maybe a 0.618 retrace would be normal, down to the 0.5. So really, I've highlighted these two levels on the fibs because these are the most common retraces that I would expect. So the 0.5 is around 60%, and the 0.618 is around 58.9%. So really, it's just a fluctuation within this area that we could expect if this divergence was to pull back and we cool down to oversold conditions on dominance.
Right. And that could equate to some pretty massive altcoin moves, because even the slightest pullbacks have created pretty big pumps. Right. So that'll be interesting to see. Mian, I don't know how to say it. XRP. There's a lot of XRP people in the house today. I don't know what it is, but we're going to have to go over XRP at the end, I think. But yeah, very interesting here with the Bitcoin dominance. Let's see how it plays out if we maintain this point of control or if we break below it.
Right. Yeah. So as well as the total 3 chart and the Ethereum chart, we're going to look at the total 3 versus the Bitcoin chart. So this is essentially a dominance chart on its own. But normally, if you do Bitcoin dominance as it is, then it includes the large caps like Ethereum. The total 3 chart takes Ethereum out of the equation. So you get a better picture of the rest of the altcoins, or at least the rest of the large caps, to see how they're performing. So the total 3 BTC 1 week log scale chart. We're using the 1 week on log scale because this is a lot of data going back to 2021. There's a really big picture here. So I've turned on log scale to see if there's any more clues on the bigger time frames that we could see something bullish happening for total 3 coming. So this was a 0.618 retrace down to fib support. At the same time, you had an oversold bounce. This is on the weekly chart, don't forget. So an oversold bounce on the weekly, if this starts to trend higher up to the overbought conditions, this would be considered an alt season stretch. I don't know if it's going to be the end all mega alt season that we're all waiting for, but it's definitely something that we could get excited about, where you could have some very decent alt trading for at least maybe a month or two. So that could make up for all the drawdowns and the lagging that it's been going on. So you could get a couple of really good months of altcoin trading. As well as that 618 support, you got that histogram increasing on positive momentum. So that's these white histogram bars down here, and they're starting to climb to the upside. And at the same time, you're seeing the MACD looking for a bullish crossover. So all of these 3 things on the indicators is a really good sign that there's a bullish reversal coming. Right now, it's still a potential, but this is about as bullish as you can get when you get to the early stages of what a reversal looks like.
All right. So you're catching it early here on the stream with us and Trip and his. I mean, there's just so much confluence in the way that he sort of pairs the indicators and looks across time frames and juxtaposes things like total 3 versus BTC. And this has all given us a clue as to what could come next. It's giving us that edge. And we love having the edge. We love having the edge over the crypto casino. That's what it is. We have the edge, and it's really cool. So I'm just going to read a few comments here. Greetings from Poland. Jacek, I thought you were making a statement before with just a dot. But Poland, that's super cool. Wow, we've got so many countries. We've got Belize, Poland, Spain, where I'm at, We got some SoCal people, SoCal from the Cali trenches. Ambitious, is that SoCal or NorCal? I'm just curious. And Gary says he understands that Korea started using XRP as an unofficial currency and the whole country is exploding with crypto. I don't know about using XRP as an unofficial currency, but I do know from my talks with Animoca Brands, with Binance, with all of the players, the big players, that Korea is one of the biggest markets in the world. I mean, they are very, very bullish and into crypto. It's crazy. And yeah, that's where most of the state activities going on as well. Yeah, that's true. They're like ahead of the curve over there for sure. And Unstoppable Bull says the bullish trifecta, he likes to call it. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
So we've got Cardano here. Let's have a look at Cardano.
Yeah, ADA, this was our support entry that we had down here. I thought I had the original setup posted, but I don't know if I do have it here. But anyways, we were looking for a support bounce at this green support level. And from that, we got about a 19% move for ADA so far from that support. But this double bottom, I think, has a long ways to go. If we were to draw in this channel, then really you can see that we got a breakout of this channel. You got the double bottom playing out. So we're expecting a move. Let me get rid of this for a second. We're expecting a move at least to the neckline of this double bottom, and that could be about around 83 cents for ADA. And if this were to break higher, we're looking for a move to the top of the range, and that would be around $1.13. So that's 110% from the support entry. If you're going to move it up a bit from where we are now, that's still about an 81% move for ADA coming as far as we can see from here.
Wow. Yeah, pretty phenomenal. And don't even ask where ADA goes on the log scale. We've done those before, and it's pretty crazy. Like if you believe in them long term and you think they're going to be the horses that win the race, like yesterday I said, it's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity having DeFi come to Bitcoin via Cardano, and they're already proven out that it's possible and that it's scalable. And so that would be massive, massive for Cardano, massive use case. So let's see where we go.
Right, and if you're looking for a retest entry on ADA, if you haven't gotten in yet, this 0.272 fib levels at about 60 cents. So if you see a pullback to this area, that would be a nice support resistance flip of this level. So that could be a really good time to get in. And it also aligns with the Bitcoin move that we've already had. If it starts to cool down a little bit, or if Bitcoin dominance starts to go up a little bit, then you're probably going to see those pullbacks that we're expecting. So you still have a chance to get a good entry into the ADA setup here.
Very cool. All right, let's go. Saga.
Yeah, Saga's an update. This was just posted yesterday. So we were saying this is probably the next one to probably start taking off. And just over the past 24 hours, this thing has already started to break that resistance. So the same thing as ADA. If you missed the breakout itself, then you're looking for a retest. If it comes back down and tests this level again, that could be a really good entry for the long term for the double bottom to play out. And same thing as ADA as well. If you're looking for the first move up to about the neckline at about 44 cents, and then the measured move for that double bottom is near 71 cents for Saga.
All right, let's go Saga. I know we had some movement yesterday on a lot of these alts, so it's looking good, guys. It's looking good. What else do we have cooked up here, Trip?
The next one we have is WIF. So this is another one posted in the group a little while ago. We were watching for a break of this handle. Very similar to the Pangu setup. We had a nice cup with a beautiful handle. And now WIF on the 12-hour has broken above the 200 MA at the same place as this falling wedge upper trend line. So I like to see that confluence, right, where you get the break of the 200 MA and a trend line in the same area. We could even draw a horizontal support level here just to add another layer of confluence. So this level that it bumped up before is now trying to be flipped into support. So same thing as ADA, same thing as Saga. You're looking for a retest here, or the best entry could be if it comes back down to this wedge trend line. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That's really small probably. So there you go. So if you don't get that retest of the trend line here and you miss it, then you're looking for a retest of this trend line and the 200 MA. So you have a couple different places where you can scale into this trade.
Looking good. And that's one that, is still not taken off yet. That could potentially be an entry for people who are watching on the stream and paying attention. WIF likes to run hard when it runs.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to measure the move just to see what we could expect. So I'm looking for a move up to this resistance level. So this was resistance over here. It tried to act as support here, and eventually it lost that level. So I think this is a fairly safe level to look at. And that's about a 200% move. And that's heading towards about $2.84 for WIF.
That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. when the memes start to run, that starts to be craziness, guys. Very crazy. The next one, I think I already see it up there on the tab, is PNUT. But before we cover PNUT, I just wanted to, state the fact that in the group, we're kind of talking about after the PNUT chart was posted, that Elon Musk said that they arrested and killed PNUT, but have not even tried to file charges against anyone on the Epstein client list. Government is deeply broken. So Elon Musk is starting to talk about PNUT again. Beeple put up a thing where he had PNUT tattoo on his arm, and you know what that kind of thing means. I think Andrew said it, or somebody said in the beginning of the chat, that it feels like alt season is bubbling up again. It most certainly does. So we're going to go over PNUT now. Let's have a look where PNUT is.
Yeah, PNUT, we had a nice triangle forming, this symmetrical triangle. We were looking for a breakup of the triangle and the 200 MA on the 4 hour, just the same. So same idea, you're looking for some confluence on these breakouts. But now it seems like we're struggling a little bit at this resistance. I might adjust it to this level. And you're still looking for a confirmed break above that resistance there for the next entry. And as we talked about, you're going to look for another retest if it pulls back, and that could be a better entry than waiting for the breakout for PNUT. But yeah, I think we could see a move up to this resistance here around 40 cents for PNUT. Let's take a measurement of that move just from this line here. So this is a shorter term trade. You're looking at about a 58% move, which still isn't bad. If we zoom out though, I mean, PNUT has the potential to be building a bigger structure. We just can't quite see the whole thing yet. Maybe this turns into a really, really weird looking double bottom or a cup and handle as well. And then really, let's just take a look. We're going to zoom out, clear the chart, and we're going to measure again just to see what these bigger targets could look like. So we'll add a horizontal line.
I like looking at the bigger targets. Let's go.
And we'll pull a fib just to see what the extensions look like. So up to this level, oops, this would be the measured move of that structure to the 2.0, and that's at about 76 cents. So that turns this move into a much bigger target at about a 211% move for PNUT.
Not bad indeed. PNUT, is it going to be on the run as Elon Musk and other big players talk about him? By the way, I was supposed to say this in the news portion, and I just got too overexcited with my all-time high vodka for the all-time high toast. But the former CEO of X is stepping down, and Mr. Beast has come out and said, hey, I'll be the CEO of X, and he is massively bullish on crypto. What do you guys think about that? You think it'd be bullish for X and crypto if Mr. Beast became CEO of X? You think Elon Musk and Mr. Beast would get along? I don't know. It kind of didn't end so well with Trump and Elon. So, but I think it'd be pretty cool. What are your thoughts, Trip? Would you like to see Mr. Beast as CEO?
Well, yeah, I think he could bring a lot of attention and probably a more youthful crowd potentially to Twitter as well. So a lot of the youth, they're on TikTok and they're promoting these meme coins like crazy. So it could be good for the space. Also for another meme season type of event, if that were to happen, in my opinion.
True that. Yeah, true. Actually, maybe that will be like when full-blown meme season starts again, when Mr. Beast comes on as CEO. Wouldn't be a bad thing, that's for sure. I see Gary here is talking about government, so not private use, not government sanctions, but due to fear of their currency, you think okay, so I get it, what you're saying about crypto being used in Korea. Yeah. You think the US admin is nuts. Korean government said, hold my ATH vodka. Not too sure what you mean by that, but I get that they're a very strict and stringent government. So yeah, that makes sense now. Visha says he's in NorCal, 2 hours or so from XRP headquarters. Cool. You guys think I should interview Brad Garlinghouse for my podcast? Would that be an engaging one? I think it would be. I think we got to hit up Brad and get that going. I did do a small one with him at Consensus a few years ago, but we're due for a sit down. So yeah, let's see what's on Brad's mind. Then we've got, oh, and you're saying, are a lot of crypto investors in Spain? Not really. I sort of started one at my members club, like a mini. There is a scene in Barcelona and Madrid, but I'm in the south in a city called Marbella. So it's kind of like, a mini hub for people who sell their companies, and just, it's a really beautiful place. So I'm trying to gather, it's more of an investor crowd here, I would say, but the development in Spain and the talent here is insane. We have some of the best developers, I think, in the world. So that's pretty cool. And Vicious says the Diddler and Epstein got away in the USA. I can see why people are selling their houses and leaving. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed thing going on right now. Like, some people are wanting to go back because of the pro crypto administration, all this bullish news in there. On the flip side, it seems that a lot of Americans are coming to Marbella now. I've been here for 13 years. And I've not once, like, I've got like a handful of Americans that I've ever met here in Marbella. So it's starting to become a thing. But yeah, XRP battling up. Korea is massive turmoil. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And yes to Brad. Okay, let me know if you want to see Brad on the show, guys. And what would you want to ask him? What would you want to ask Brad? Mian says, yes, BG, one strong CEO. Oh, yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Okay, sorry about that. We got into, it's so much fun to just like kind of comment and hear you guys' thoughts as well as we do these streams, because it's kind of like we're figuring this out in real time as a community, and I like that. So back to PNUT, man. This is going to be a big move shaping up, and the whole reason we got into that was, will meme coin season start if Mr. Beast steps up as CEO? Can you imagine the stuff that would happen then? I mean, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy, right? Do I know Brad Garlinghouse? I've done interviews with the Ripple team. It was the CTO last time, and I did a brief interview with Brad in Consensus in Texas. But generally, I'm doing a lot of podcasts with all of the top projects, and that's why I have the channel on our trading group, is to get a lot of information. I want to share that with you guys. It's one thing to speculate about what's happening; it's another to meet the team to actually know what's going on. I did an interview with the CFO of HBAR, Betsabe, and we've become pretty good friends, and she's amazing and great leadership in HBARs, and they're doing some incredible things. So all of those things that I discover on my tour, I posted in the group, and I let people know what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, because sometimes that actual sentiment isn't being translated to X, or people don't really know about it in mainstream, so I like to help you guys by passing it along. So yes, it would be amazing. So let's get Brad on then. Let's do it. And also Mitch Liu from Theta. Let me know if you want to see him. But anyway, Trip, back to you. Let's have a look at Coin.
Yeah, Coin. This is Coinbase stock, actually. So in the group too, we also have more than just crypto. Now there's a lot of ETFs that are crypto ETFs, and there's just a lot of stocks that are crypto related in general. So we had to develop another group just to cover those, because we didn't want to get it too messy. Some people are only interested in stocks, some people are only interested in crypto, and then there's the few that like both and they want to dabble in each. So we have a couple of options for stock trading as well in the group. The one we're looking at now is Coinbase stock, which is performing very well, following Bitcoin pretty much. Maybe not in its footsteps to a T, but it still seems to be doing, we're in an uptrend. It's still been climbing higher for the past a couple of years, since 2023 so far. So now we're looking for this break above the resistance that is just happening now. And we had a little poke above it earlier. This was about June 25th. We had that little poke above, and then it was retesting this 886 level at around 329, 330 or so. So now that this resistance is going to break, we're expecting it. Now that we don't have any more resistance over here to clear, it's pretty much just it's blue sky right overhead, right? So there's not a whole lot stopping it from here. We're really just looking at fib measurements at this point. So the first one we're looking at, TP1, is about $458, and that's the 1.272 fib extension. Our TP2 is at the 1.618, so that's $574. And then the 2.0 measured move for this massive structure, you can call it a cup and handle if you want. Some people call it an inverse head and shoulders. It really doesn't matter. We're just looking for a break above this resistance to look for these higher levels. So yeah, TP3 measured move at the 2.0, that's about $700 for coins. So from here, that's pretty much a double of the move, right? We're getting close to doubling. It's around 91% for coin.
Wow, not bad for a stock, I must say. And actually, if I were to buy stocks, so sometimes I entertain it. I really kind of got away from that a while back, but I would definitely buy crypto stocks like Coinbase. It's cool that you can double your money like this in a stock. And I remember when you posted this in the group when that double bottom was forming before. And it was the same sort of thing. It was like, we can double this move. And here we are again at another opportunity saying you can double this move potentially. So yeah, I do remember that and getting really excited about that when we first looked at this.
Yeah, we actually first caught on to this when it was bottoming down here. So we had this inverse head and shoulders pattern. This was back in 2022, 2023. So I've been in since the retest, essentially. Actually, I got in a little earlier. I think it was this support on the 200 MA. I think my average entry was around $76, $78 or so. So it's probably closer to here. And I've still been holding it ever since. It's been sitting in my tax-free savings account. If you're Canadian, you can take advantage of tax-free savings accounts, which means you don't have to pay capital gains tax on your trades. It's a blessing in Canada. So we're pretty lucky up here to have such a thing.
That is pretty cool. Man, no wonder we wanted to become a part of Canada. I mean, I did talk about that with Kevin O'Leary, and it's pretty interesting. Yeah, the different rules, but I did not know that you were allowed to do that in Canada. I mean, we should have some sort of legislation like that in the U.S. Maybe we've got some sort of tax code you can take advantage of. IRAs, I know we have, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So, Coin, do you guys own any like stocks in the channel? Are you guys looking at stocks? We are vamping up that group quite a bit as well. So I think it's cool to diversify a little bit, although my diversification is usually into crypto stocks. So, but yeah, really exciting. So we're getting to the end of the stream, guys. And I know a lot of you want to see XRP. So if you're still out there and you still want to know, let us know. Let us, if you have any burning desire, let us know if you have burning desire to see any of your other charts as we're ending this stream, maybe triple, be feeling generous and do 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, let's get started with XRP. Andrew, I know you had a really specific question. I can try to go back and find it. But let's first do a little bit of analysis while I go back here.
He was talking about the 1 hour Stoch, the Stoch RSI. So the Stoch is very fast moving. On the 1 hour, you're just going to get a bunch of volatility, which doesn't really equate to a move one way or the other. So even just in this choppy stuff, you can see the Stoch went from oversold to overbought and back again, but the price didn't really reflect much of that at all. So I don't really pay attention to the Stoch under a certain time frame. Really, I like to pay attention to it more on the 12-hour or higher time frame. And then the RSI and the MACD seem to do just fine for anything else in between or lower than that time frame. Like I've said, it's just there's so much noise on it. It's really hard to trade, and I wouldn't depend on it as trying to find an entry or an exit to a trade.
Okay, these are actually really valuable tips when trying to time your entries or just understand why you're getting stopped out or what's happening, right? I think that helps a lot if we go over those kind of like tips on what to look for, what time frames to use, etc. So I like that. So very good. We have Theta Venture Mind. Venture Mind is such a small cap, guys. I know I've talked about it in my channel last year, I think, when it first launched, and we were up quite a bit. I think we did a 4x from where I first talked about it. Obviously, it's down now. A lot of the cryptos are. It's a very small cap. It launched on Cetify, right? And I had a call with the CEO, and he's very, very cool. He's in Austin, Texas. I love what they're building. It's trying to be like the Canva of AI, trying to make it very like plug and play friendly. So I did invest in it too. I'm holding it. If you want me to do an interview with the CEO to find out more about it, I can circle back to that. Otherwise, I'm just kind of holding, new cryptos, new projects, new stocks. They're volatile. And they just have to kind of get through that phase. So as long as the team is building and innovating, I mean, the cool thing about Venture Mind is they actually have a business model outside of the coin. So many people just launch a coin and it's vaporware and it's like, yeah, let's go, let's pump up, but there's nothing behind it. So they're a subscription model and there's actual revenue in the real world. That's what I know about it. So the coin is used for other things. And so, yeah, I think I have a lot of potential. But again, I haven't revisited that recently, so I will do that. We got Theta, the Theta crew, always. I love it. And here we have Theta investors, Circle, Master, and STRF. Maybe should we have a look at Master?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, the only problem I have with that chart is they've been doing, I forget how they call it, but the stocks shift with the amount that they're, how does it work? The prices changed because he was offering different stocks. So at one point it was like $20 for a stock, and then it jumped up to 200. It's like, well, did the price really go up to 200, or are they just did they do a 10-to-1 split? Don't quote me on the terminology. It's kind of vague for me right now, but really it's just that they've done so much to the stock itself that it could have manipulated the price if you look at it for a long-term picture. Right.
Theta Investor says they call it ATM, at the money. All right. Stocks is not really my area of expertise. I'm really into crypto, but should we look at the chart, or let's see, there was a 10-to-1 split. Okay. A split. Right. Got it.
Yeah, that's it.
Should we pull that up?
Yeah, we can do that next. Just quickly, XRP. Everyone's waiting to see what happens here.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Sorry. We just got into Andrew's question and we kind of jumped away from it. Andrew, are you still here? I want it to drop. XRP needs some relief. Okay. See, that's the thing. That sentiment of everybody wanting that big pullback to get the perfect entry. Sometimes it doesn't happen, right? But let's have a look. Let's let Trip zoom us in here.
yeah, so the breakout entry we were looking for originally was of the triangle itself, and then you had a retest, and it's been running since. So really, we were looking for that breakout above the 200 MA. So this is a 4-hour chart, but I have the 1-day 200 MA locked to this time frame. So if you do it this way, you can see where the 1-day 200 MA is as you zoom into lower time frames. So even if we go to the 1 hour, that 1-day 200 MA doesn't change. You can even go down to the 5-minute if you wanted to, and that 1-day 200 MA won't change. So if you're looking for a retest entry at this point, so you've already got that breakout, and now you're looking for a retest if it happens, and that's probably the pullback you'd be looking for. If we look at the indicators on the 1 hour, the 1 hour RSI, it's starting to form a bit of a falling wedge, actually. So this could still be a bullish idea for continuation to the upside. Even though it's been pulling back a little bit, you got a little bit of a structure forming here. So we have to pay attention to that. If that was to break higher, then I think XRP could keep running for a little while, potentially up to, up to the upper trend line or the neckline of the pattern. So we'll go back to the 1 day again to see that. All right. Yeah, so if you were to call this a double bottom, right now we're using the 0.618 as our fib extensions to see the move to the upside. If we just clear this chart for a second, really you're just looking for the break above this level here at about $2.59, and that would be the double bottom neckline. So we're getting really close to that level. That's the next breakout entry. So you really only have two options at this point. You're looking for a break above that level or a pullback to the 1-day 200 MA.
All right. Well, there you have it. You'll get your entry or you won't. Sometimes they just keep running and they don't wait for anybody. So if you do get that entry, it would be a pretty good one, it seems. I'd also like to get back in. So let's see what happens here.
Perfect. We can take a look at MSTR.
All right, master, let's go. Let's see where we're at here. I know there's been a lot of talk about this one.
Yeah, it's actually looking like a, well, see, yeah, this is that move I was talking about, going from $10 up to 116. So usually it tells you here if there was a split. Maybe I don't have it enabled at the moment, but yeah, a lot of it could be what they're doing to the stock itself. So that could definitely manipulate the numbers a little bit. Knowing what the bigger picture looks like, I mean, I've gone back as far as I can. We're not really getting a whole lot of data back here. It's pretty much just a flat line in comparison. So we're just going to zoom in to see if this is a continuation pattern that's forming. So maybe the 2 days a little too big. We'll see what it looks like on the 12-hour. And yeah, you're starting to get a resistance that's a fairly flat resistance here. So we'll add a horizontal line, and this is your next breakout level at around 422.43 for MSTR. And then the first target you're looking for is up to this previous high that was made back in November of 2024, and that's about $536. So the measured move should be fairly decent. You're looking at about a 26% move from this level to this level. If we're expecting Bitcoin to keep going up and the bull run to keep running, then we probably want to start measuring the bigger picture. So we'll go from that high down to this bottom, and then really just this whole range from this high to this bottom. If you double that range, then you're aiming for up here around $242 at the 2.0 fib level. Let me get that nice and lined up, and the 1.618 is around 726, and the 1.272 extension, that's around 620. So there's definitely a potential for more upside coming for MSTR. If we measure this move up to the top of our range, yeah, you're looking at pretty much a 100% move to that target at 842.
So we've got Coin and Master that are potentially going to double if they hit the top of these measured moves. It's massive for a stock. I mean, it's very impressive. Do you own Master Theta Investor? When did you get in? Did you get a good entry? I think it's looking interesting. It's looking juicy. It's like right at that point where we're starting to bubble up. We're starting to see some life. Bitcoin's breaking new all-time highs again. And yeah, 4 to 6 months to potentially life-changing gains for those of you who apply yourselves. Let's go. We do have a question here from Big Seki. What do you think of ETFs that pay dividends weekly? What do you think, Trip? Are you involved in any ETFs? Do you have an opinion on this?
I'm not involved in any specifically, just because I'm already in the crypto space. I feel like I'd rather just trade crypto directly, unless it was a stock that you can't trade as a crypto on the exchanges that we use. So I haven't really dove in or dived too far into that yet, as far as dividends and all that stuff. I wish I could give you a better opinion. I'm not really too familiar.
Yeah, on that, Big Seki, actually, I've been talking to iTrust lately. They're also based in Southern California, so I might go see them next time I have my studio there for my podcast. But they specialize in crypto IRAs, how to like structure everything properly and tax efficiently, and they deal a lot with ETFs. So I could actually do like a very dedicated podcast on just strategies on, that kind of stuff. If you guys would like to see that, let me know if that's of interest. I think that would be a really interesting way to diversify and have some, tax-free exposure, so to speak, buying and selling and trading within the IRA and other setups that they can advise on. So that'd be interesting, I think. Wow, Theta Investor, OG, got in at $37 in Master. Not bad, my friend. You are truly an OG. I mean, I hope you got a similar Theta price at those levels. That's pretty phenomenal. Good for you, riding the wave. Very cool. And so I don't know. On that note, do we have any other burning desires or requests? Otherwise, I think we went over most of this, man, and it's looking good. You guys have the levels. If you're in the group, you're staying up to date every single day in real time, and we are doing these lives. We're going to have one more tomorrow to finish our summer sale, and if people want, we can try to continue next week. I mean, I'm kind of liking the vibe here and the community we're forming, and checking in every day on how the trades are going. I'm really liking this a lot. Trip, I know people really appreciate your knowledge and the value you bring as well. So yeah, I'm loving it. This was a great all-time high stream, everyone. And you have any closing thoughts, Trip, before we wrap this up?
Not very much, really. It's usually the same thing as always. It's just keep an eye on Bitcoin. We haven't confirmed that breakout yet, so we don't want to get caught jumping into stuff too quickly, at least not very heavily. So scaling in is probably your best bet, just while Bitcoin is still slightly uncertain. Once you've broken above that $112,000 level, then I would probably start being a little more aggressive with my altcoin trades. But at the same time, because Bitcoin dominance is starting to bounce, you want to look for those retest entries on the stuff that's already started moving.
Oh, okay. There you got it. The summary, the big synopsis of what you should be waiting for if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin or alts. You've got the layout here. You've got the blueprint. You've got the map. So let's go. So I hope you guys have a phenomenal, it's Thursday, right? Thursday, almost end of the week. Lots of good vibes, lots of energy here. Pipeline, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. It's been great. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Right on. Thanks, everybody.